Hello everybody, today I'm going to show you how to use the pen tool and all of its subtools. And by subtools I mean the pencil, color replacement, etc. So, by the ways, if you want to skip ahead and jump to different timestamps, they're all in the description below. But first, we are going to start off with the pen tool. Now, I just wanted to let you guys know I'm doing this tutorial on a Wacom tablet. So if the way I do it is a little bit different than you, that is why, because I'm using a Wacom tablet and the Wacom pen. So yeah, but anyways, let's start with the brush tool. As you can see, I am currently on the brush tool, and as you can see up here, there are different options, but I will show you the current brush tool I have. So let's create a couple lines. So here's the first line, and here is the second line. Now, let's change the size. The bigger the brush, it does that. Let's do Command Z. But you're definitely not gonna need a big brush like that. So, but now let's talk about these different lines. So let's talk about this one. This line is pretty thin, as you can see, because the reason why this line is thin is because I pressed lightly on my tablet. So as you can see right here, it's a pretty thin line. And now, as you can see in this line right here, it's pretty thick. And the reason why it's thick, it's because I pressed pretty hard. So because I'm doing this on the Wacom tablet, I'm going to explain to you how I do it on the Wacom tablet, how you do it on the Wacom tablet. So the lighter you press on the Wacom tablet, the lighter your line is going to be. But the more pressure you put on the tablet, the bigger and thicker the line is going to be. So right here, I did it pretty lightly, but it was around here where I started pressing down on the tablet pretty hard. So that is why. So as you can see, it's a pretty thin line right here, but if you're doing this on the mouse, you can change all the hardness right here. See, the hardness is basically how thick your line is going to be. You can choose different kinds, but you're not going to need any of this because it's pretty. You can choose different modes. You can dissolve, behind, clear, darken, multiply. But you just need a normal section because you don't need any of that. Now, the opacity. This is the opacity at 13%. And this is the opacity at 100. You see the two difference? So the higher your number is for your opacity, the clearer your image is going to be. So right here, this is at 13% opacity. So if your opacity was at 0, you would not just be able to see any of it. Now, let's soothing. You see how, as I draw this line, it looks delayed, even though I'm pressing directly on it. And the reason why is because it's trying to create, you can use it to create very precise different lines and stuff like that. Now, for the soothing, the higher your number is for the soothing, the more delayed the line is going to be. So, as you saw at the very start, you see how delayed this line is. But if you're at 0, it's just automatic. Like, I'm literally drawing a line right here. So let's erase all of this. And let me draw a house for you and show you precisely how it works. So here is the house. It's just, I'm not a perfect drawer, so, but here are the windows right here, the doors right here, and let's say I want the windows to have the thick lines, so I would press down hard like that also, and let's say I wanted a pretty visible roof, so I would press down hard, and here you go, and here is the house. Now let me draw a person right here, and here is the person. Now you can also change the color of your brush, so it's like you can do red, purple, blue, green. You get the idea. But basically, you can change the color of your brush here. You can also do this. But yeah, that's basically the brush tool. It's pretty simple. A child can use the brush tool and know exactly what they're doing. But yeah, now that was basically the brush tool. So brush tool. The brush tool is pretty simple. It's literally the most simplest tool in Photoshop, since like you're literally just drawing with the brush tool. You can, if you're making edits to like a photo or something, you can use the brush tool, and like on a different layer you can like make notes or whatever. But yeah, this is a brush tool. But you don't really need any of these settings because you're not going to really do anything unless you're a photographer or something like that. But anyways, let's go on to the pencil tool. Let's unlock this. Okay, now the pencil tool. The pencil tool is literally the same thing like the brush tool. So here is, did I change? No, it didn't. Yeah. So, as you can see, it's a pretty thin line. Let's get rid of. As you can see, it's a pretty thin line right here. But if I press down hard, you get a pretty thick line. So the same thing. Thin and thick. So again, like the pen tool, if you press down light, you get a pretty light, thin line. But if you press down hard, it becomes more full. So settings up here, exactly the same. Literally exactly the same settings as the brush tool. You see all of this, the different kinds of modes, but you don't need any of that. Opacity, smoothing is the same just as the brush tool. So yeah, so here I'm using thin line, but I'm pressing down hard. Here is hard, but now I'm pressing down thin. So right here I press down very lightly, but right here I press down pretty hard. And for the second line I press down hard at the beginning, but I press down light for this rest of the line. So let's do that, and let's use the house example again. So let's say here is a house. This is the house. Let's say I wanted to have thick windows right here and right here. You see the difference between the windows and the house itself. The line, it's pretty thick right here compared to the actual house itself. So right here, do that. And let's say I wanted a pretty thin roof. There's the roof again. Oh, let's turn that off. So here's the house again. Let's say I want to have thin. You see those window in the middle. It's pretty thin, but on the actual window itself is pretty thick. So right here, thin, thick, thin, thick. And here is my person. Let's do. So for the head and the body itself, I pressed down hard, and it got a full head and body. And for the arms and legs, I pressed them pretty light, and as well, like the brush tool, you can change the color of the pencil as well. So green, blue, yellow, orange, you get the idea. So it's basically literally the same exact concept as the brush tool. So, but I think for the pencil tool, you can actually, if you use this thin line, you can draw stuff. But yeah, and that's the pencil tool. So literally the same concept as the brush tool, but it's a pencil, and you can like write stuff down with the pencil and stuff like that. So like this, or like that. Yeah, the brush and pencil tool can be interchangeable, but it's really up to you. But I think for the pencil tool, I would use it to like make notes if you're gonna do edits on like a photograph or something like that. But I think for a brush tool, you can do drawings with a brush tool. But like honestly, it's really up to you. But yeah, the first two tools are done. Now let's go on to the last two tools. Alright, here we are, the second to last tool. Alright, the second to last tool is called the color replacement tool, and I'm pretty sure you can guess by the name of it that you can basically replace the color of whatever thing you're trying to replace. So this is a photograph I took when I first moved back onto campus, and I was skateboarding around the neighborhoods around campus, and I saw this van, and when I saw this van, I saw it like it was a surfing van, because at the front of it, when you looked at it, it literally looks like a van like a surfer would use. So, and that is where I got this picture from. But let's say, right here, let's say I didn't like the color of this light. So, with the color replacement tool, I am going to change this light right here and use the same color and change it to the same color as the van. So if I wanted to do that, I would have to do that. Now, just like the brush and the pencil tool, you can change the size of the marker to color it in. And just like the hardness, you can like do it as much as or little as you want, but it really doesn't matter as long as you can do it. So let us now change the color of this. Okay. You see it right here? I just changed it. So the original color was orange, but now I changed it to red. So as you can see, previously, it will look exactly the same way as it did previously before I actually made the change. So you see how it was originally orange. You see how it looks right here. If I zoom out, I can. You see how it looks now? Let me open a new picture and let me just show you. This is how it looked originally. Okay. This is the color correcting. This was originally orange. So as you can see right here, this is the original photo, by the way. Right here. Nothing has changed, nothing is new or whatever like that. Now, this is what the orange thing looks like now. And this is the orange thing after I used the color correction. So as you can see, it looks practically the same way. The only difference is that it's now pinkish red, like the van. So there's a bunch of different options up here to do it perfectly. It's not absolutely perfect, as you can tell. There's these white spots. But basically, the color replacement tool, you can literally pick an object, whether it could be this tire itself, or the van, the color of the van itself, or even up here. You can, with the color replacement tool, you can basically change all of this to whatever color you like. There are all these different options. You can use it to do it much more precise than whatever this is. But yeah, that's the color replacement tool. Now, okay, let's move on to the mixer. We are still going to use this same picture I used the first time, and this is the original picture. So let's zoom this out. Okay. This is the original photo, and this is what I'm editing on. Now, the mixer tool. Let's say I wanted to let's say I wanted to mix this right here in the background. I would use the mixer tool and mix all of this. There's no people in this picture, so I can't really show you the big difference, but the mixer tool is best used when you're editing a person's face because it really blends in your skin tone, their skin tone to whatever is in their background. As you can see, this is the biggest difference. This is all the mix I just did with using the light blue. But if I use white, it basically mixes. So let's say you have a sunset. You can mix the sunset together to create this very beautiful blends of colors and stuff like that. But the best use for the mixer tool is on people's faces. So like you can use it to like mix skin tones or whatever like that. There's different options. Again, it's always going to be the same with the different brush options. See, you can do different different levels. The more wet it is, the more it's going to look like this. But the flow and stuff like that. Enable airbrush. The airbrush style is literally this. You're just mixing every single color together to create a different color or a shade. Yeah, these are basically all of it. So this is the after. So after is the color replacement right here. So the color replacement right here, and this with the mixer. This is the after, and this is the before. So as you can see, it's around this area, these two areas. This is the color replacement, and this is the mixing tool. I wish I took a picture of the sunset so I could show you, but yeah. So this is what I mixed. I believe there's a better shade of red for this light right here, but I couldn't find it. But it's not orange anymore. And right here, mix the background and stuff like that. But yeah, those were basically my that's basically it, I guess. For tools, the first two was basically, it's pretty similar here. And yeah, so that was the color replacement. I have terrible handwriting, I'm sorry. And the mixing tool. The mixer. So for, like I said before, this is the color replacement tool, which basically you can replace the color of anything. So basically, like your piece of clothing, a hat, glasses, whatever, glass frame, you can change the color of it. And you can change the settings to be very precise and stuff like that. And for the mixing tool, you can change. The mixing tool is best used on people's skin tones because it looks a lot better and gives it a very realistic look. But I think you can also do it on sunsets to create a very beautiful color. But yeah, so going back to the original picture right here, and the one I replaced. So as you can see right here, I mixed the branches in the house together and created this. It doesn't look really good, but here I was able to replace the orange sign, the orange light, to a red one. So yeah, that's basically it.